Certes, on a cru déceler un fléchissement de Merckx ce mercredi dans Gand-Wevelgem au cours de l'ascension du mont Kemmel. Mais ce n'est pas une raison pour en conclure que le champion belge est moins fort que l'an passé. Merckx sera donc quand même l'homme à battre.
Le froid et la neige étaient au rendez-vous de la 37e édition de Gand-Wevelgem le 9 avril 1975. Et des coureurs se sont donc dégagés avec la double ascension du Kemmelberg direction Waregem avec plus de 40 km de plat en passant notamment par Yves.
Pull back again by that chasing group. And they're coming up pretty quickly. That certainly doesn't look to be like 20 seconds. And on the front, Fondres is beginning to pride himself off the front. And Dirk de Wolf on the left-hand side. De Baar on the right-hand side. Sean Yates, there he is. So in fact, Sean, I thought was getting across the gap. He must have been with this little group here. A quick flick of the camera's got him in the wrong spot. But Sean is there with Baar. Of course, the effects of his chase trying to win the Tour of Flanders. There's Kelly as well. Kelly just come up the front. He was a bit cooked. I think he finished about 41st on Sunday after the Tour of Flanders. But he's up there at the front. Kelly in the blue of the...
du fameux Kemmelberg avec ses 20% de moyenne, avec ses pavés, que deux coureurs vont tenter de se dégager du groupe de tête. Il y a Franco Ballerini de la Mapei Class, deuxième de Paris-Roubaix en 93, troisième de l'édition 90 de Gand-Wevelgem et troisième du Tour de Lombardie 91, accompagné bien sûr de Johan Museeuw. Nous sommes à plus de 60 km de l'arrivée. Vous voyez que le peloton grimpe le Kemmelberg, donc avec ces terribles pourcentages.
Ballerini, who is out of control here, he is the rider stamping on the pedals, and the Museeuw has gone with him, but out in the ejector seat has gone Olaf Ludwig, and Ballerini is actually causing a little bit of pain to Johan Museeuw here, but immediately dropped is Olaf Ludwig, and somebody is coming up like a train. It's Andre Schmill. Schmill has gone by Ballerini, and Andre Schmill can join the runners here. Remember, he's only had a fourth ever in Gent-Wevelgem. Fontanelli and Andrea Perron has gone through as well. George Hincapie goes through for Motorola. But the whole field seems to be coming back into contention. Leon Van Bon for Rabobank, just spotted him there as well. The hard push by Franco Ballerini, but I think it's going to come to naught. It really is a difficult climb, this. And Andre Schmill is about to reach those two. And I think it's... You can see now the race being led by Johan Museeuw, and also in that lead group I think we've got O'Grady, Andre Schmill as well.
Jackie Durand, the Frenchman here riding for Casino, he's riding an excellent race too, but Museeuw leapt out of the main field quite quickly there, but then seemed to slow down. There's Frederic Moncassin, Stuart O'Grady and Andre Schmill for Lotto, but you can see the faces on the riders here, a little bit more pain in their legs than there was, I think, the last time we came over the Kemmel. Axel Merckx is going to make the Belgians very happy here as he gets to the steepest part of the Kemmelberg, and you see he actually has to get out of the saddle, pulling on those bars to get every last little bit of effort into his machine.
And in fact, the other two breakaways are passing right down the bus now and heading back into the peloton as the rest of the riders scrabble up here. But again, Paul, apart from Axel Merckx, nobody is actually ripping away from this.
Moncassin. In fact, Dario Pieri has caught Vandenbroek and gone by him. Now, this man certainly, to me, Phil, has been a great revelation of the season so far. He's done a great performance coming up after the Tour of Langkawi stage victory that he got there and really ridden well. Now, you can see Stuart O'Grady coming up. O'Grady really at home on these Belgian races and trying to come across.
Using the cobblestones of the Kemmel to shut down George Hincapie. Paul is right there with them, and Tom Steele's gritting his teeth. He knows as a sprinter he's just going to have to live through this for a few more minutes.
Well, Kursipu suffering at the back here, champion of Estona in that jersey, riding for the Casino squad. He is doing everything he can, and one man who seems to be suffering today is the big Franco Ballerini, trying to get across to that leading group of riders. So Guinness Brook has now been brought back into the fold, but a great season so far for him with a third place in Milan-San Remo and a fifth place just a few days ago in the Tour of Flanders. And this climb really starting to tell on a lot of riders. You can see the suffering on their faces, and Rolf Sorensen dropping to the back a little, and Henk Vogels, well, he's not quite got it today.
Vogels in big trouble there as they continue their ascent. This is Kersey-Poo is falling further back. Zorbel doesn't look too happy. All the national champions passing through our picture there. As these riders, if they can just limit a little bit of a split here being formed at the front with Stefan Wesserman setting the trend and George Hincapie there alongside Leon van Bon. A bit of a gap, but isn't George being vigilant today?
Well, he's riding sensibly, Phil. He's actually covering the moves rather than trying to instigate them. A serious move going off the front here right now. Daniele Nardello has seen that. Weinstein's the world champion going through, trying to respond. But look at that. On the back of the group, Eric
Lombard at the front too, and he's setting up a try to control it, happen in favour of the lead out. And Matt will lead out, Mario Cipollini. But Boone, look at those shoulders working here. Meanwhile, the lot of boys are starting to fall away. Listen to me, though, it's Van Bon. The surprise there, former champion of the Netherlands, dropping off the back. And here he is. Now, this is the steep part. The legs really look up. You can't get out of the saddle. You've got to sit there and keep the pressure on as best you can.
the part of the climb when you get serious burning. Kicks up towards the summit. Look at that in the middle there. That is Tom Boonen. He's a superb looking bike rider. This is Adrian Clare. Rides for Team Telecom nowadays. And we haven't seen him all that much of the front to back ratio. So I know it's a slight tailwind, but I think what he's expecting here is to see a split from the front end of the group and a small, solid group forming at the front end of the race. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tom Boonen accelerating. Although Boonen is there in about the fourth or fifth position, he must realise at this point he's got to do something special if he wants to win. Get away with him for the second year in succession. Push
Jan Kersey-Poo is just hanging on, and Jan knows he's got to hold it here. He's not too far off the back, should be good enough to rejoin. He packs the power in the sprint. He got in third place last year. And the two other riders who finished ahead of him are ahead of him on the Kemmel. Little bit of a slip of the gears there by Fletcher. He's put it to rights, and he's struggling now, but he's coming up to the summit. Now it's Alan Davis here from Liberty Seguros gritting his teeth. But the pack are right on them now. And again,
looking down most of the big names. There's Torfusov going through. To see how far down the pack Tom Boonen is this time. Maybe
Wesserman. Where's Tom Boonen for the moment? This is a whole new a group of riders at the front now as they start to really try to rev. And Robbie McEwen may have been at the back earlier on, but he's just about 4 riders back this time up. Now, if McEwen knows if he can get over the top in the front group, and the group
in the main field, I think you could be right, Phil. We could be looking at a very large group. They're trying, in fact, I think, to keep the main field pretty much together to see whether or not they can have a large number of teammates over the top of this climb to organise the chase to pull back those leaders.
Well, this is the top of the climb. Tom Boonen coming up. Everybody in control of things. Robbie McEwen, small as he is, bouncing his way through the cobbles. Now it's the false flat through the trees, then the plunge off the Kemmelberg. And then it's going to be all hands to the deck to chase down the leading three.
Just holding on here. There's no way that Pozzato's going to be able to take the head in front of him. I suspect on the descent he'll try and get there and sort of infer that he's doing his bit, but for the time being it's Gilbert. They're side by side, these two, and this is a great effort here. They're winding their man in. They know what he's got, and so clearly do the
Look at the gaps opening up here in the peloton. There's going to be riders at the back of the peloton who are wishing that they decided to do something else today.
Del Nero out there. I thought it was Pagliarini for the time being, but it's not. It's Del Nero. Pagliarini further back, way back for Sonia de Velscott. And they have, Mike, they've realised that this is it. It's either go for it now or just lick your wounds at the end of the day. Thankfully, nobody has had a serious fall here today, and it seems that
Freire toch een klein beetje in de problemen. Hè? Die blijkbaar toch op die stenen beklimmingen niet echt zijn een drive in.
En hij weet het. Hij gaat even inhouden. En IJssel mag mee, Gilbert mag mee, Van Marken.
Inderdaad, Kuczynski en Freire, dat zijn de mannen die het slechtst naar boven zijn gereden. Want ik wilde inderdaad al komen met de melding Freire. Waarom klimt hij als laatste naar boven? Maar jullie waren me net ietsje voor. Of is het verstoppertje spelen van Oscar?
Ja, ik denk dat...
And he's on the Kemmelberg right now, 18.7% at its worst, 6.2 over the entire 530 meters. And look at this, that is a fabulous, fabulous picture. It's one of those that appears on the front of the cycling press magazines. And indeed, tomorrow it'll be in Het Nieuwsblad and the rest of it. But right now, he is on a push. He's on a mission alone. Just probably around about, 10 or 15 seconds he's got on his former ally in this escape, but Pope has decided I'm going alone on this one. Very, very brave. Look at the surface here.
Yeah, it's certainly a difficult climb to do, but you can see the peloton just coming down the back there and the seconds are ticking down.
And the other 5 riders behind him. It's been a tough day at work for this breakaway group. Nearing to the middle. So laboured on the Kemmelberg, aren't they? Look at the shoulders going left and right. You have to marvel at the way these guys can go through this amount of pain on these climbs. It's so steep, this section. Julien Fauchard of Cofidis.
Buitenschot alleen boven. Dat zal wellicht een einddoel worden. Nu vooral heel belangrijk tegen het kantje hangt. Vingers in de neus bij wijze van spreken. Hussoft ook nog altijd goed mee vooraan centraal. In beeld ook Cavazzi zien we goed mee naar boven stormen. Morkov, de kampioen van Denemarken, centraal. En Van Marken met een hele lange beurt. Hij neemt de Kemmel voor zijn rekening. Dit peloton volgt op 30 seconden van Boaro. Sagan die zoals altijd geconcentreerd naar de grond kijkt. Stibar die het wiel van Sagan viseert. Daar komt nu...
This is what the classics are all about, seeing a rider cresting a climb like the Kemmelberg in the lead in a classic.
On the right out of the saddle, sprinting up the climb. So Cancellara, Sagan, Van Avermaet, and then just a little gap now going back towards Luke Rowe and a few of the others. But this is a really good, strong climb here from Sagan, and Cancellara is the only one who can go with him at the moment.
Great ride from Luke Rowe. It looks like he is going to manage to get back onto the cut.
Sections. immediately they're more difficult. Immediately they're more testing. Look at this at the back.
Viviani's got some legs on him. He's really going well. Sprinter, quick steps.
The last launch pad, and it's breakaway that's got the road that has to chase him. Marcus to make a move. Oh, we've got riding on the left hand side. More gone to the barrier. More gone to the barrier. Viviani there trying to keep. Moss doesn't quite well to get back on his back there and forgets Fulkin's win. This happened on the Kemmelberg as well. An attack for Danny Paul, followed by Marco Haller. Alongside.
Bon, Mohoric, gros moteur actuellement, mais donc que se passe-t-il? Vous avez en fait les 5 hommes de tête qui résistent tant bien que mal. Alexander Christophe va comme ça. Non, il va pas rentrer du tout. Il va pas rentrer. Par contre, il va éviter de se faire lâcher.
Wout van Aert and Van der Poel. So that's interesting. I was about to ask that question of you, Steve, whether or not Jumbo-Visma would be happy with the fact that they've got Teunisson in that group, but the way, alongside Kung, who's climbing extremely well, Sepp Van Mark with that big sprinter's frame of his, also riding really well. Mads Pedersen very much in the hunt still, but Wout van Aert has almost closed the gap to his teammates Teunisson, and the two groups come together pretty much right now, and inevitably it's Van Aert and Van der Poel who are the first two riders to get across to the front of the race. And look at them sweep past Mike Teunisson and right into the mix now. The two to watch have been the two who've gone. And Stefan Kung and Matteo Trentin, with a slight gap over the rest, take the top of the Kemmelberg, and Luke Rowe
to thin things out proved pretty fruitful. You can just see Trentin up in the steep section of the climb again. One up who forced the pace. His teammate Nathan Huda struggled. Van Poppel as well.
To the Kemmelberg again. And Jonathan Milan gone by this point, and an opportunity for Mads Pedersen to lay the pressure on. And actually at this, those three still clear, but look at the chasing group behind. Final time onto the Kemmelberg in the hardest direction, up the Austrier side, and it was in the end just that did for Lawrence Pithy, so close to hanging on to Mads Pedersen.